Okay, guys, it is November 7th, 2020, year of our Lord, and the election has been called, and the winner has been declared, and his name is not Trump. That's who's won the election. And I just wanted to check in with my favorite internet kook, my new favorite internet kook, Tim Pool, who I would say he's having a meltdown, but it's more just this is his normal behavior. So I wanted to check this out. So let's take a look.
I think this election was a repudiation of the culture war. I think many people were saying, we don't want your far left garbage, and we don't like Donald Trump's attitude. So this
is another thing that like kooks. It's another one of my favorite poolisms is like people just don't like Trump's attitude. They don't like his swag. That's what they don't like because they don't get it. They like all the policies of Trump. It's just like he's got a little bit of a rough edge that they don't like. I love that he's able to say this while 250,000 people have died just in the past couple months from a completely preventable disease outbreak. Watch my other video on that, on the like, what is it? What did I call it? Like, could it have been prevented or something like that? You got that. You got no stimulus passed that like every economist is like, you need to give people money right now. Normal people money right now. Hasn't happened. They could make that happen. Why haven't they? Who knows? Who knows? Like disaster. But he's like, no, it's just his attitude that they don't like. It's just the attitude. It's just his dude they don't like. Also, we'll keep watching this video. He never really explains why he likes Trump, and he keeps saying that he voted for Trump and he supports Trump and blah blah blah. But he never explains. He never gives a real explanation as to why. Which is amazing to like get away with that, to get millions of views, millions of subscribers, and like never have to explain your position in any meaningful way. Beautiful. Man, I wish I could grift this hard. I'd be so much more wealthy.
Reason why Donald Trump shouldn't just concede outright. They're saying they have evidence of voter fraud in Nevada because they cross-referenced change of address, files, and people who voted in the state. If they've got evidence, it needs to be brought forward.
Okay, so we got evidence of voter fraud in Nevada because they cross-referenced the addresses. There's different addresses. Oh, there's different addresses. Must be fraud. Let's take a look. Let's look into this a little bit. Trump lawyer calls military ballots cast in Nevada, quote, criminal voter fraud. Let's just read into this. Should Nevada residents who are serving in the military be allowed to vote? Both federal and local laws say yes, but a letter sent to the Department of Justice by a lawyer representing the Donald Trump campaign doesn't think so. So basically what it says in this article is that, in Nevada, if you're a Nevada resident and you've like recently moved, like in the past 30 days, or you're overseas, for example, you're in the military or something like that, you still have the right to vote.
Listen, I endured years of Russiagate and Ukrainegate. I reported on it fairly. I said, let's see what the evidence brings us. I can at least, and so can you, give a few months to make sure that whatever ends up happening, we have a clean transition of power and everyone respects the results. Trump supporters, for the most part, are likely going to be disappointed. Some may be angry. But for some reason, the left is still rioting. Surprise, surprise.
Again, this is the best. This is the best of his poolisms. Is just anything bad. He just calls that the left. So like the left is rioting again. Like Bernie Sanders, AOC, Ilhan Omar, and all these people. They're out there, kicking in ATMs. Cornel West and Oliver Stone and Nina Turner were caught smashing a Chase Bank window. The left, it's just all the left. The left are doing this. If you believe that healthcare should be, you shouldn't go into debt because of you get sick or whatever. You probably broke into a Walmart and burned it set it on fire. The guys from Pod Damn America, they trashed a Target and burned it down in the name of, expanding worker co-ops. It's the left, the left's just out there doing their dirty deeds all day, done dirt cheap.
You thought, Biden voters, you could vote away Donald Trump. No, nay, I say. They've already decided that Donald Trump will be immortalized in the idea of Trumpism, which I have no idea what that is.
Okay, so he says some idiot wrote an article where it's like Trumpism will never go away. And he's like, I don't even know what that means. And then later he calls Trump a conservative populist. So what is it, Tim? Do you not know what that means? Or is it right-wing populism? By the way, right-wing populism doesn't mean anything. It means a con. It means a scam. But by definition, you can't be conservative and a populist. There's one group of populists. Just to get this clear, okay? There's one group of populists in the United States government, and it's Bernard Sanders and the squad. That's it. So if you want to go populist, that's the direction you would go, just to be clear. But if you're more into not being super cool about brown people and you're a little bit weird about trans people or something like that, then you go conservative. That's your choices. You got to make a choice, okay? If you're a Tim Pool fan and you found this video, maybe I should go into a little bit more detail on this. So there are populist actual tangible policies that are populist. Like, for example, the most obvious one is universal health care. That would be very populist because you don't have to be wealthy or whatever to have good health care. You don't have to even be employed and your employer offering you health care as part of your employment. You would just have it. That benefits the populace, as they call it, okay? Another one would be public college. That would benefit the majority of people, not just a small group of people. See, that's the thing, not having a universal healthcare system, which having Medicare for all or something like that it's proven in every other country to work better than what we have. We pay more and get worse results. It's not even a leftist position, it's a mathematical position. Why we don't do it is to benefit a minority of people, not the majority, the populace. See, that's what populism means. It's gotta match. It's gotta make sense. So yeah, if you're a usual Tim Pool viewer, he's trying to make your brain into sort of oatmeal and pudding, because this is so confused. If I was a Tim Pool fan, this would all just be nothing would make sense. It'd be okay, so there's something called right-wing populism or conservative populism, which is just a guy with baggy pants, dances to YMCA, and he tells people to shut up. That's, I guess, right-wing populism. It's kind of you don't really like Mexico, Mexico. It would just be so confused. But if no, there are things that would benefit you, and it wouldn't benefit a minority of people who benefit from the current system, that's populism. Just trying to break it down for the pool heads out there.
But that's the big threat. The Lincoln Project is already ramping up. So, my friends, I bring you now into the world of chaos that is our political reality. Whether Trump stays or goes is irrelevant. Box, if you want to send me stuff. But the best thing you can do is share this video.
Here we go.
If you really want to support my Box, if you want to send me stuff. But the best thing you can do.
He's really good at plugs. I'll do that right now. Hey guys, if you like this video, please look. I have a cat and I can't afford to feed the cat. I have a dog who also is gonna die if you don't donate to this and subscribe. If you don't subscribe to this, I'm just gonna basically let the dog loose and it'll have to fend for itself. Is that what you want? You pieces of shit? If you don't do it, that dog's gone, okay? So you better subscribe. My family, they can't afford clothing, so they just wear, old-timey barrels with the straps. So if you don't subscribe, all this stuff is going to keep going on. This is my version of Tim, the constant Tim plugs.
Is share this video. If you really want to support my work and you think what I'm saying and presenting to you is rational and reasonable and you think I do a good job, sharing is the best way to actually help. Seriously, I know I say it all the time, but I really mean it.
You definitely do.
Democrat. And before that was Chicago Democrats. And I don't care to vote anymore, but I'm an independent left-leaning individual. I voted for the...
I'm super left. I love Trump and I voted for Trump. But I'm somehow left, and I call the left crazy, and mild policy proposals like the Green New Deal, and mild politicians like Bernard Sanders. That's crazy, but I'm on the left, by the way. This guy, he is. I cannot believe someone gets away with this. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's too easy. The grift is too easy. I should just flip onto this side. It'd be so much easier.
The Republicans this time, and you are correct, Abigail, because of the insanity of the far left, notably the riots. Now
This is another thing. He's super, super afraid of riots. And this past year, 2020, we had an unprecedented, outpouring of people who were really, honestly, protesting against something pretty disgusting, which is police brutality. Police brutality and also a police state. Like the police killing people just because they're poor, or over-policing them just because they're poor, and, ruining people's lives with the protection of local governments and covering up crimes that they do and letting them get away with it. People were like, we're not going to take this anymore. So they took to the streets. They took time out of their own life to go and protest for someone, in a lot of cases, someone that they don't even know. Or even a group of people that they don't even know. Like, let's be honest, a lot of people out there protesting might have a little bit more privilege and so on, etc. But they said, look, I can't, in good conscience, whatever, just kind of sit there and let this kind of stuff go on. That, my friends, is called being a decent human being. And by the way, they've done studies on this. It's like between 90 and 95% of these protests are just peaceful. That's in the first place. Not that they should be peaceful even. But out of that 95% nationwide, worldwide protest for something that's obviously the right thing to do, to protest this stuff, protesting something that's obviously wrong. This guy and a lot of his, types are such scared babies that they're like, I saw a Chase Bank window get smashed. I saw a Target get looted. So they're hunched in their suburban house with their guns because they saw this tiny percent of this nation and worldwide thing. There was rioting. And by the way, in Portland, for example, it's like you would get nowhere near anything even remotely violent unless you go downtown, unless you leave the suburban Portland area. Yet it's like I'm so scared. I'm so scared. And I thought these were like the tough guys. I thought this side was like the tough guys of the political spectrum. That was part of it. Like, we're macho. But you're super scared because you saw a window broken on TV? So stupid.
Before that was Chicago Democrats. And I don't care to vote anymore, but I'm an independent left-leaning individual. I voted for the Republicans this time, and you are correct, Abigail, because of the insanity of the far left, notably the riots. Now I'm a gun owner, and I don't want Joe Biden or anyone taking them away from me because I've seen what happens when you guys are given the reins of power. So you've made...
It's just like stacks and stacks of nonsense. The reins of power? What are you talking about? Like, it's the definition of not having power. What's the quote? Like, the rioting is the voice of the powerless or something like that. Like, this is what happens when you don't have political power. And again, he's like, oh, it's so that's why I'm voting Republican, because I saw a riot. Like, what a wiener. What a weenie. Like, he's so upset that a Buffalo Wild Wings might have got graffiti on it that he's like, I'm voting Republican. I'm never leaving the house. And guns, guns, guns. What the fuck? What kind of a brain believes that? That's beautiful.
We won the House. Really? You lost how many seats? 8 seats got flipped, but it's a net gain of 5 for the Republicans. Rep. Mark Vesey, a Democrat of Texas, delivered a similar condemnation, lamenting that the far left's approach to several issues, including moving funds away from the police and banning fracking, had given ammunition to GOP attack ads. Vesey said he watched GOP commercial after commercial using video footage of Democrats uttering the words "defund the police" to great effect.
How naive do you have to be to believe that? So some Republicans ran ads that were like, and I've seen these ads, they run on YouTube all the time, where it's like, ex-politician wants to defund the police. Do you know what would happen? It would turn into Death Wish 3, where a guy with a mohawk will come into your house and he'll try to kiss your family. He'll kiss your whole family and he'll steal all your jewels if they defund the police. Okay, and again, if you're a Tim Pool fan and you stumbled across this video somehow, what defund the police means, you can get this book for free. I think it's still free. On Verso Books, maybe. It's called The End of Policing. The idea of defund the police, it's bad marketing, of course, because with a lot of things with these political positions, it's branded wrong. Defund the police just means invest in things that are actually going to fix the root problems. So, for example, a big thing that police deal with that they shouldn't deal with is people with mental illness. You need social workers, you need people who can actually help deal with, fix the root of that problem, get that person help instead of just cycling them through the criminal justice system over and over. Same thing with sex workers. Police do not do well with sex workers. In fact, they've done studies on this. A lot of police officers and people who are part of the criminal justice system exploit sex workers and make their lives harder. There's a lot of things that police just don't handle well. Homelessness is another one. It actually costs less just to house homeless people than to keep cycling them through jails. That's what defund the police means. It basically means like fix the root of the problem, stop just throwing people in jail, stop arresting people, stop tasing people, so on, etc. This is obvious. Like, problems have sources. You know what I mean? Like, that's all that is. That's what it should be. That's how it should be rebranded. It should be something like, fix the source of the problem, don't throw police at the problem. That's what it is. It's bad for police too, by the way. Just throwing police into situations that they really can't do anything positive for, is bad for them too. I mean, they shouldn't be dealing with that. That's not their job. Their job should be dealing with violent criminals and so on, which is a tiny percentage of what they do. That's another thing that's kind of shocking if you don't really know a lot about this. Tiny percentage. It's like a career event for police when they get in the midst of a violent criminal situation. So detectives and all this stuff, yeah, of course, you have to police violent criminals. You have to chase murderers and so on. This is a tiny bit of what police do. A lot of what they do is dealing with poverty. And that's not what they should be doing. So he just kind of runs through that. Why this is naive is because, of course, like, politicians are going to use whatever they can to trick people into voting for them. So he's saying, like, let's watch it again.
Including moving funds away from the police and banning fracking, had given ammunition to GOP attack ads.
Like, you can't, they're going to use anything. This is how politics works, if you're not naive and kind of understand this. This is how life works. They're going to use whatever they can to try to discredit you. They called like the Republicans, and I've seen ads for this. Trump has been running ads on like this on YouTube for the past couple months, where he's calling Joe Biden a Republican. Joe Biden's a Republican, let's be honest. Calling him a socialist and a communist. Like, they'll literally use anything. Like, you can't just be like, okay, I have to do whatever they say so they don't say that I'm bad. Like, I mean, if you really wanted to avoid that kind of stuff, I think you probably wouldn't have. I mean, really, like, Bernie Sanders is really the only one with like a really clean record, didn't vote for the Iraq War, etc. Joe Biden was really, he had a lot of skeletons in his closet, but the exact opposite of what he's talking about.
VC said he watched GOP commercial after commercial using video footage of Democrats uttering the words "defund the police" to great effect. Liberals immediately pushed back on the moderates' narrative. These people are not liberals. Stop. I'm a liberal. I've always been a liberal.
Well, he said he was left earlier. Man, he's the most politically confused guy. You gotta, this is a thing. Tim, you gotta take some time out. He uploads like 20 videos a day. Take some time out and define yourself as a human being. Define your boundaries as a human being, okay? You need to figure out who you are. Take some you time and figure out what you believe. I think but you know what? I'm joking, but that is kind of true. Like, this rush to, like, you need to be uploading, always be uploading. Like, these hustle dudes on YouTube always be working. And you know what? Yeah, it's good to be busy and all that stuff, but if you're just constantly uploading stuff and you're never reading and you're never researching or learning, you're going to upload some really dumb shit. And it's probably a net negative. So let's take it easy on that stuff a little bit.
Trump may lose. It's close. We are very, very close to Trump being defeated. I know there's a lot of Trump supporters and Republicans saying investigate the impropriety. There's evidence of fraud. By all means, I agree. Investigate all of these things. I want to make sure the next 4 years will not be nearly as bad as the last. I've lived through a Joe Biden administration, a Barack Obama Biden administration, so I'm not going to cry about it. But I just got to say something. This lady, I feel bad. She's crying. I'm not. But how is it that I'm sitting here pending a Trump defeat, and I'm laughing with my friends about the absurdity of what's going on, and I'm seeing this lady cry on the phone? How are they crying and rioting when they won?
Yeah, I totally agree with this. Like, the president and, the people, the Republican Party, they're just taking this, like, they're just like chilling. They're fucking being chill as shit, dude. And it's like the people on the other side are like losing their minds. They're going crazy. But president's taking it super cool.
In a stunning display from a sitting president, Donald Trump launching an assault on the integrity of the election, unleashing a barrage of false claims of fraud and corruption without evidence.
If you count the legal votes, I easily win. If you count the illegal votes, they can try to steal the election from us.
Breaking.
By the way, he couldn't memorize that before he gave the speech. Did you see that? Dude has to like read every line. It's a pretty easy thing. Just go out there. Hey, it was all fake. They lied. They tricked. Hey, there you go. Easy. You don't need to be reading from it like that.
His 2-day silence, the president fuming after watching his lead in states like Pennsylvania and Georgia evaporate as election workers count legal mail-in ballots that have been skewing heavily for Joe Biden.
We were winning in all the key locations by a lot, actually.
Taking it very well. It's fake. It's a lie. When you count more ballots and it doesn't go the way you want, that's fake. Here's another person on Tim's side taking it really well.
But I've been thinking about this all day. If you truly...
This is Glenn Beck. Glenn, as I call him, Glenn Danzig Beck.
believe that this was stolen, which I'm not saying it is at this point, but if you really truly believe in the end that it was stolen and they are going to steal it and destroy our Constitution and fundamentally transform us into something that we are not, I keep hearing the words of the Declaration. It is the right, it is their duty to overthrow that government.
So all his fans, which he's been, They all think the election is stolen because the president, as we just saw, is saying that. He's saying, it's your duty to overthrow. It's your duty to take your guns, which you've only probably shot at cans and at your local, target practice place when you drive your unscratched truck. The bed of the truck is totally unscratched. You drive that over to the shooting range. You're going to have to go and basically kill everyone in the United States government now. Yeah, they're taking it really well. They're taking it really well, Tim.
I don't know, man. I don't know anything about it. Well, now they all adamantly rose to action and said, we must defeat Donald Trump. And they may. And you know what? The one thing I'm really looking forward to with the Joe Biden presidency is that all of the warmongering, imperialistic authoritarianism, I'm now going to wave in their face and say, this is what you voted for.
Okay, now we can agree on something. Me and Tim can agree on something. Joe Biden, total warmonger. It's true. That's true. And if you watch old videos of Joe Biden during the lead up to the Iraq War in the early 2000s, oh boy, he was a very excited young man to get that war started. But if you look, actually, because remember, Tim's got to go over to the Republican Party because these warmongers on the Democrat side, like Joseph Biden. If you look at the votes during that time, here, I'll just read this to you. So the joint resolution, which was like, yeah, let's go do a war in Iraq. 215, that's 96.4% of the 223 Republican representatives voted for the resolution. That's in the House. 82, so that's less, not nearly less enough, holy moly, of the 209 Democratic representatives. This is total proof that both of these parties are horrible. 82, which is 39%, 39.2. I think I fucking read that wrong, but 39.2, still really bad. So 96.4% of Republicans versus the 39.2% of Democrats. This is why Tim's going to the other side, because they're so much better on not going to war. Let's look at the Senate. 48 yays for the Republicans with 1 no. I can't remember who this is, but one guy said, nah, I think maybe this is a bad idea. 29 Democrats said yes, 21 Democrats said no to the Iraq War. And 1 independent said no. I guess that's Bernard. So, as far as like going to support Republicans, you are on the wrong side of that one too, buddy. I mean, both sides are pretty bad. Both had majorities for invading Iraq, which turned out really great. But it's a little bit better on the Democratic side, at least in there's an illusion of that. But yep, another poolism. I don't like these warmongers over on the Democrat side, so I'm going to go to the more warmongery side. Genius.
The problems with Trump were individual problems. He was a bad guy. He was boorish. He had character defects, but we had a great economy.
He's hitting this note again. Hey, look, he's a little rough. He shoots straight. People can't handle that. He shoots straight. He's not like, I'm a nerd, but people can't handle that. He's just like he's a little bit too much of a rude dude with a tude, but all his policies are perfect.
He was signing peace.
By the way, the economy was great. Okay, I guess we have to go through this again because Tim Pool fans might be watching this video, might have stumbled across this video, so let's just go through it. Okay, so again, this is for the pool heads out there. Most people already know this, but let's check this out, okay? What do you notice about this? This is the unemployment rate. This is Barack Hussein Obama. What do you notice about this line? Just want you to think about, what do you notice about that? Job gains. What do you notice? What do you notice about this line here? It almost seems like there was a trend happening, right? GDP growth. What do you notice about this as well? Especially, ooh, look at that. Yikes. And look at that. Uh-oh. Yikes.
Is a possibility. Now, Trump may get clean legal victories for sure. I think there's a path to victory for Trump in using the legal system and potentially invalidating illegal ballots. Should they?
So I love his like illegal ballot stuff. You could watch my previous video on this. But the funniest thing about this, of this conspiracy theory thinking, is when I started reading the comments, because there was one guy who was like, my neighbor said that a guy that he knows got 3 extra ballots for his family, and his dog got a ballot.
Mrs. Krabappel and Principal Skinner were in the closet making babies, and I saw one of the babies, and the baby looked at me.
Baby looked at you? Sarah!
That's what I think of when I read that thing.
They have evidence that these ballots are in fact illegal. It might happen. Democrats, you should watch yourselves. There are a lot of videos circulating, and if you think it's over, you would be wrong. But of course, there are Democrats crying, there are people freaking out, and there are riots.
This is my favorite part of this whole video. Oh, I love this. This is amazing.
It's still happening. Well, Donald Trump issued a statement. We believe the American people deserve to have full transparency.
I got to start from the very
Watch
beginning.
yourselves. There are a lot of videos circulating, and if you think it's over, you would be wrong. But of course, there are Democrats crying, there are people freaking out, and there are riots still happening. Well, Donald Trump issued a statement.
Rioting.
We believe the American people deserve to have full transparency into all vote counting and election certification, and that this is no longer about any single election. This is about the integrity of our entire election process from the beginning. We have said that all legal ballots.
Tim's like tearing up while he's reading. The president said, we believe the American people deserve to have full transparency into all voting, and all people are created equal. So what he's just like, yeah, these people are freaking out. These Democrats are freaking out. And listen to Trump. Fucking cool as hell, man. This is like the tone of this entire video, is that people are freaking out. And anyone left of Trump is freaking out. And Trump and everybody else on Trump's side is just cool as a cuke. And he's right. The Trump people are, handling this with class and dignity and respect and honor. They're honorable. They're an honorable people, as Tim has just illustrated.
As I mentioned, we are not prepared to give that number. The Biden crime family stealing the election. The media is covering up. The Biden crime family stealing this election. The media is covering up. The Biden crime family stealing this election. The media is covering up. We want our freedom for the world. Give us our freedom, Joe Biden. Joe Biden is covering up this election. He's stealing it.
I love that guy has Chris Farley, like SNL age Chris Farley energy. Joe Biden stealing the election. I am El Nino. All other under El Nino. Like that, his physicality was very classic Chris Farley.
I am El Nino. All other tropical storms must bow before El Nino. Yo soy El Nino. For those of you who don't habla español, El Nino is Spanish for the Nino.
But yeah, just to go back to what Tim said, yeah, super classy on one side. They're just like, oh, we lost. I'll just smoke a cigarette and hang out with, Katharine Hepburn, and we'll play the piano, and I'll have a mic with like the tiny, Bob Barker mic, and I'll go over to my, fire pit, and I'll hang out, and I'm a cool guy, and I got my smoking jacket on. And the other side, the Democrats are just like, they're crying, they peed their pants. Bernie Sanders peed his pants. AOC, just completely like, just mascara running down her face, freaking out. One more time, Tim Pool reading this beautiful Trump tweet. We believe the American... I can't. It's too beautiful. Oh American people deserve to have full transparency into all vote counting and election certification. This is Tim Pool's style of reading a Trump tweet. And that is no longer about any single election. And, you know, what would Trump actually be talking about? He would be like, Ellen DeGeneres is, or whoever he hates, is a dummy and a fat loser. And these losers are not created equal. Well, there you go. More mind-numbing stupidity from Tim Pool, who I don't believe is stupid. And to be honest, like, Tim Pool, there's something actually like really endearing about him. He seems like a very like innocent guy in a weird way, but he's just spinning the most stupid crap to get clicks. And I guess maybe I wouldn't care as much if it weren't like in the interest of like racism and transphobia and homophobia and just blatant racism and all this stuff. If it was just like his neighbor or something, and he's like, my neighbor's cool as hell, look at all these tweets that I do from my neighbor, and his neighbor's like not racist or whatever, be like, okay, you're probably inflating the coolness of your neighbor a little bit, but more power to you, great, or whatever. But you know, you got to do what you got to do to get clicks. In terms of the election, the Biden win, you know, it's funny to see Trump just eat it, of course. Biden, who knows? Maybe now that he's much older and kind of losing his mind a little bit, maybe we can actually do some good for people, especially in a pandemic. Maybe help people out. I'm not holding my breath on that one, but guys, if you're a Tim Pool fan and you stumbled across this, he's making you dumber. Okay? Goodbye.